Okay, guys, we got another episode of High Rated Edison today. Today we have X Cheku 26. I'm just going to call them X for the purposes of this, on 870 rating versus Swaglord 777 on 1695 rating. I believe at the time of recording this, Swaglord is still number one on the ladder, and X is just going to be outside of the top 100. So let's see how this goes down. Opening hands are Soul Exchange, Substitute, Rotor, Treeborn Frog, Heavy Storm, and Wind Blast versus Treeborn Frog, Caius, Riser, Duke Frog, and Substitute. Yeah, this has got to be Hero Frog. I would imagine this is some kind of Frog Monarch, potentially Hero Frog deck. Let's see how it plays out. So they're going to rotate for the Stratos. Yeah, Stratos grab. Malicious Edge, yeah. I mean, look at this hand. I'm just thinking about it. Looking at this hand, they've got Wind Blast, Treeborn, discard. They've also got Soul Exchange, either Edge or Substitute combo, and they've got a Heavy Storm to clear back row. Yeah, maybe a reason why Swaglord is number one on ladder right now. So that's the Wind Blast, passes over. Yeah, opponent drawing the second copy of Caius. This is rough. This is a bit of a slow way to start. You would kind of want to swap Frog, or you would Substitute into one. Setting the dupe is interesting. Yeah, I guess it's big, but yeah, there's no way. Obviously, they can't see that Swaglord has Soul Exchange like we can, but yeah, I think I'd probably just be starting with Substitute to get the engine online. So Swaglord doing full Frog combo here, rinsing through the dupes. Sorry, rinsing through the swaps, bringing out the dupes. Yeah, was that everything? Yeah, I think that's everything they've run through now. So, ending with dupe block up. Yeah, join into another dupe block. Okay, see how they play it now. Yeah, I think they've realised they should have done this last turn. So, substitute into Swap Frog dump Treeborn. This is good. Swap Frog can bounce back now and even get the other Treeborn online if they want. They're passing over. Yeah, understand. Wasn't a D-prison. The only thing I would say is getting both online. Obviously they can't see this, but would play around the Wind Blast, because what Swaglord can do in standby phase is they bring this Treeborn out, set it back, and then all of a sudden they've got no Monarchs in play. I would say as well, Swaglord is probably picking up on the fact that they have got a bunch of tribute summons in hand, because they're not starting very quickly. So probably picking up on that. Let's see if we're right though. So Swap Frog and Stratos getting in. Into Miracle Fusion. Okay, so it is Hero Frog. Does Swaglord let them keep it? Yeah, he does let them get them to main. Brings down the Riser on the dupe. Crashes into the other one. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate we don't have another Frog in deck that isn't Dupe Frog, because then you'd be able to shuffle away the one that's sat at the top of the deck. But going to grab the Unifrog anyway. Main 2 draw into it. Yeah. Swap Frog, bounce back the Stratos. This is nice. This is going to let them keep bringing out hero cards. So this is good. Yeah, so extra normal for the Dupe Frog. Normal summon for the Malicious Edge to get in. Both. This is nice. Draws into the Substitute. Wow. X really cannot catch a break. Yeah, this is unfortunate. It brings out the Treeborn. Are they going to get to keep it again? Yes. Okay. Far be it for me to call out Swaglord for a misplay, but I think if you're sat on the Wind Blast, you just put this back. You know it's going to be a Monarch coming down, and a Monarch kind of, banishes, spins, whatever it is, one of them attacks the other, kind of clears some of your board, and you really don't want this to get banished in case you do draw into a Miracle Fusion. Obviously you got the Stratos in play, but maximize your resources. Yeah, she's into Wind Blast now. I think if Swaglord watched this back, they would recognise that they had the option to do this to the Treeborn. Now obviously we can see that it doesn't really matter. They've got a Monarch tribute anyway with the special summon swap, dump the Treeborn, and that gets that back online. But you would have put them off it for a turn if they don't have this, and even if they do, you're forcing them to use up a swap frog, which, as Swaglord is demonstrating, is quite a good resource if you can keep looping heroes, especially Stratos. So yeah, now decides to do the pitch Treeborn summon swap, so they are showing that they've got it. Dump the Substitute, draws into Miracle Fusion. Wow, this is... yeah, protecting the swap was also really good there, because now they're going to be able to... yeah, normal summon Stratos, add Ocean, bounce swap back, special summon it, pitching Ocean, yeah, and then Miracle Fusion, using only grave material. Yeah, I think X realises it's over, because this swap frog's going to be over this. They're going to have an Ab Zero and Stratos up, which is way more than 4,000 with the 2 waters on field. Okay, going into game 2 now, so X is going to get to go first. Both playing 40. This is interesting. So I do feel like on ladder I run into a lot of the 41 Fraser Smith builder frogs, hero frogs. But yeah, both of these players are on 40. Opening hands are Vanity's Fiend, Miracle Fusion, Deep Prison, Mirror Force, and Swap Frog. Not the best start on this side, but Swap Frog does get you into tribute fodder for Vanities. And X has got Crow, Equal, Substitute, Heavy Storm, Rota, and Dupe. Going to start with Equal for Stratos. Nice, grab Malicious. Okay. Doesn't choose to go for Ocean. Sets the Rota as a bluff. Okay, so not playing any more heroes. Maybe this is why they didn't see a hero. Maybe it's just Stratos and 2 Mali. But we also didn't really see them pick up any discard traps. Okay. Swaglord's going to pick up Junk Synchron for turn. Normal summon swap. Dump Treeborn, bounce swap back. Set the D Prison. Draws into the swap frog. Huh. Goes to battle. Okay. Attacks him with Stratos. Yeah, Deep Prison's nice. I mean, it takes them off. If they have Miracle Fusion, it takes them off of, like, material. You saw them add the Mali, but the Mali is quite slow, especially as you've seen it sticking in their hand. I do wonder, though, just because they've got Miracle Fusion, if they know they're going second and they potentially sided in Mind Control and they had Brain Control in the main, then they've potentially got cards to take it. Obviously, the chance of drawing them in 33 is really low. But would you trade a Deep Prison for 18? I guess yeah, I mean, Swaggler's demonstrated the value of looping Stratos, so maybe that's what they're worried about. Okay, but yeah, I think that's probably correct. Get the Strauss out of here. It's one less hero for Miracle Fusion, and it's not going to get looped with Swap Frog. So dumps the Treeborn, draws into the Brain Control. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I mean, can't see the future here. Apparently, I can. But Brain Control there would have been able to take the Stratos, Miracle Fusion. For no material. Yeah, so Swap Frog coming down now, dumping the other Treeborn, getting him for 1,000. Passes back to hand and then passes over. Special summons the swap? They have a Treeborn in grave. I think this is a bit reckless by X. They should, if they're looking for a Caius tribute, they should be using their own Treeborn. I mean, even if you're worried about Crow, you still play into it, don't you? You force them to have it. I don't know why they've done this. I think if X look back on this, they would probably agree that they were meant to bring out Treeborn there instead of the Swap Frog. Swap Frog is going to get to dump, not the other Treeborn. Maybe they sided one out? Okay, I mean, the thing is, X is in an okay position because they're banishing one of the Treeborns and they've got the Crow for the other one, but I still think you're meant to bring Treeborn back for the Monarch, tribute the Treeborn for the Monarch play, and then, you know, special summon Swap Frog out if you really want to later. They're also potentially losing the ability to then loop their Monarchs, because what they could have been doing is bring out the Swap Frog, bounce the Caius back, keep their own Treeborn in grave, and just keep doing this each time to try and pick apart the board. I really think that's a mistake, and I think if they watch this back they will probably agree. Gonna get him for 24 now. I mean, they're probably feeling pretty good because they're holding the Crow. So yeah, they're going to Crow the other Treeborn. All the pickup is them Stratos there. That is delicious. We're about to see game 1 all over again. So Stratos grab Ocean. Yeah, Ocean, pitch for Swap Frog special, Swap Frog dump, whatever. Miracle Fusion. Bring out the Ab-Zero. This is still just the Rotor bluff from before. Power phase. Yeah, this is going to be on 3k. That's nice. 1000 and 1800. Yeah, a lot of damage. Yeah, I mean, Swaglord's in a very commanding position now. I think if X had kept the Swap Frog and the Substitoad in hand, they'd have been a lot better off. I also think if they'd have the Dupe Frog in hand, they'd have been better off. I also think if instead of this Substitoad they randomly dumped their other Treeborn, they'd be in a better position as well. And if they'd have bounced the Caius back to hand, maybe they'd have been in a better position even more. This is tough anyway. I think Swaglord kind of has this one in the bag just because they've got Brain Control Vanities. And this isn't real. I would really like to get a look at X's list, just because we haven't seen a lot of the typical Frog cards that you expect to see. Miracle Fusion's a good pickup, or it would have been if they had a hero in rotation, which they don't. Okay. Okay, Rotor for what? I think this is another misplay. I think, again, X, you're very high rated. I'm not trying to rip on you too much. I think you're clearly quite good at the game. But Rotor Bluff here hasn't really stopped your opponent doing anything. And it's potentially meant you didn't dilute down your deck from bad pickups. So you could have had more chance of drawing into... You drew anyway, Miracle Fusion. If you'd have rotated before... picks up the Ocean now though. The Ocean's good. They're going to be able to normal summon that and then go into an Ab-Zero of their own to kind of clear up the board a little bit. But I still just think they've let their life get too low. And their opponent has this Brain Control Vanities Fiend. Obviously they can't see that, but it's definitely going to hit really hard when it does come down. So draws into Dupe Frog. Stratos out. Yeah, I mean looping Stratos is just so broken. Gets themselves the Prodigy, goes in for 18, passes over. Yeah, this is just a really rough position. I mean, they've got the Treeborn for the Caius, but it's just not enough now. Yeah, so Treeborn. Okay, chooses to storm that so they can banish the hero. The banish of the hero is good. They've already got an Ab-Zero in grave though. Decides to get in for 24, and yeah, this one's just over. So Swaglord is going to Brain Control, take the Caius, tribute to the Vanities Fiend to play around Battle Fader, get in for game. Yeah, there's a couple of things on this game. So X should have brought back the Treeborn instead of going for the Swap Frog special summon route. The Treeborn is just free material. They didn't need to waste a Swap Frog and pitch a card from hand just to get that tribute online. The weird one is the bluff set Rotor. I really don't know why they did that for so long with Ocean in the deck. You would think they would try and just get that online. I also don't understand why they took the Mali. We haven't seen them play any discard traps. There's still over half the deck kind of unrevealed to us, but yeah, I think they've also drawn really badly. If they are playing discard traps, then the Mali kind of makes sense. If they're not seeing them, then it just means they've drawn pretty terribly. Some pretty heads-up plays from Swaglord. The initial opening hand on this game wasn't particularly good, but I think a couple of good draws made it very good, and the way they kind of played around a lot of what was coming at them. I think there was a play in game 1 where I really think they should have wind blasted the Treeborn. Aside from that, I think they played nearly perfectly, which is why they're number 1 on the ladder right now. Really good match though. Good example of what the Frog Mirror can be and how technical it can be.